Hi, my name's Ghita Andersen. This is Kathie Halse, and today we're going to demonstrate timeline therapy. For those of you that are interested in timeline therapy and you're a little bit curious, we're going to do an exercise, and today we're going to take one of the things Kathie wants to work on and see how we go with that and try and shift that for her. So we're just going to start, and we're going to forget that the camera's there. So anyway, all right. So Kathie, the feeling that you had, you said before, it was something to do with anxiety, and it's related to learning and understanding, and you sometimes feel that gets triggered in you. Yeah. And so, can you get in touch with the last time that you felt that? Do you remember the situation you were in where it came up?
Yes, I can. I think that any time that I want to learn something new, I go into monkey chatter. Really
so it's like self-defeating thoughts.
Self-doubt, sabotage, and then there's something that's sick that I'm not going to be able to do it.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that it's sort of more the monkey chatter that's sort of saying, hey, you can't do it, or you're no good at that, or something like that, and it makes you doubt yourself.
Yeah. And so it triggers the feelings, the emotions.
So then you get the anxiety, and the anxiety itself can stop you, can't it? Because then it can get in the way of you thinking clearly, or so it's like a self-defeating thought, isn't it? It's like catch-22, because if you have the anxiety, it stops you thinking clearly and learning well, doesn't it? So without the anxiety, what would you be like?
Fantastic.
Yeah. So you had no problem at all. No. So it's really the thought itself that's really annoying.
It's annoying. And the emotion that's attached to it. Yeah.
So when you feel that in your body, where do you feel that?
It feels a sick gut feeling.
It's right in the belly.
Right into the stomach.
So
right
is it tense? Yeah. Is it heavy?
It's very heavy. It's tense, and it's like, don't go there. You can't go there.
So it's almost like, really pressing on your tummy area, and it's a fear-based. So if it's tummy, it's very much fear-based, isn't it?
Definitely.
All right. So wonderful. So when we do timeline therapy, and I know that you know a little bit about timeline therapy, but other people don't know what that's like. So basically, for everyone that doesn't know what timeline therapy is like, it's a matter of going into your lifeline and going back to a period in your time. You might have been a child, you might have been really little, you might have been a teenager or something like that, and you had something happen to you. It might have been the first time that you felt anxiety related to learning. It could have been when you went to school. That would have been probably an ideal spot for a lot of people to go into anxiety. I remember we had a horrible teacher for learning to read, and she would smack us on the hands if we got it wrong. So talk about anxiety related to learning.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
I remember her name. So Mrs. Ersick.
I had a skeleton.
Anyway. So that's really natural and normal. A lot of people are going to have this one. So this is a really good one to do. All right. So we're gonna go back on your timeline. I'm gonna lead you along. It's just like going to be a visualization, very gentle. And I'm going to take you back, and you don't necessarily have to relive anything. It's not like hypnosis. But we're going to just go in there, tap into it, and then we're going to release it. And then the idea is that we preserve any learnings relating to that event on your timeline. So say there's some lessons that you can use in your life as an adult that you had to learn and had to go through this kind of whole process to learn. And we're going to preserve those so that you remember them as an adult, so they become conscious. Because a lot of the stuff's unconscious. We can't even remember these events that control us so much, but we know that they're there because they trigger us. And and they always trigger us when we don't have the resources to cope with it, right? So you might be in a classroom and having an exam, doing postgraduate study, and suddenly this comes up. And the last thing you need in a 2 or 3 hour exam is to spend half an hour coming back from the fight or flight response, right? Anyway, all right, so we're going to go into this, and I'm just going to get you, first of all, do a little bit of breathing, and to close your eyes, and then we're going to slow our heart rate right down, because I'm going to be talking to your unconscious mind. So anything that bubbles up when I ask you something,
Yeah.
any answers that bubble up, anything that bubbles up, brilliant. Let's go with that, because that'll be your unconscious mind telling me the answers. I don't want to know what you want to know consciously.
Yeah.
That stuff, you already know that. We want
Yeah.
the stuff that you don't remember.
Yeah.
So if anything bubbles up, tell me.
Yeah.
If you get a number, if you get a word or anything like that, just give it to me. Because that's the bit I want to talk to. That's the bit that remembers every second of your life from the time that you're born. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's like a filing cabinet.
Yeah.
It's got every second,
Yeah.
remembers everything. It's got all those automatic responses that we don't have as conscious
Yeah.
minded people. We can't tap into any of those memories because we don't remember them.
Exactly.
They're tucked away in little filing cabinets. So those are the things that I'm going to delve into. But first of all, we'll slow your breathing down. So I'll get you to take 3 slow breaths in. I'll breathe with you because it's nice for me to chill as well. Out and push out as much air as you can on the out breath, and then in again. And out. And breathe in. Now with your eyes still closed, I wonder if you can imagine your life's timeline now. Notice how it tends to look like a line running from the past to the future. So in your mind's eye, we're using your active imagination. I'd like you to point to where your past is. What do you think your past is on your timeline? Is it to the left? Yes, over there. And your future, point now to your future. All right. It's the same as mine. Mine kind of runs left, past to right, future. And mine's a little bit skewed, and sometimes people have them front to back. That's okay. So I'd like you now to fix a white flag on your timeline for the present time, please. Have you done that? Okay. So anytime I ask you to do something and to respond, just lift a finger or nod your head. That'd be great. Thank you. Okay, so we've got a left to right timeline, and the past is the left and the future is the front. So let's go through what we're going to do now. We're going to look at the original upset, the original anxiety. There will be a positive reason for this, like a lesson, and there might be several lessons that we're going to preserve on your timeline. And we're going to find that event now. So I want you to think of a negative emotion that you had in the past. You may even feel that same feeling now that you had in your belly. You might still be able to tap into that. Try to remember what it feels like. Feel the charge wherever it is in your body. Feel the tension in your body. Feel that emotion now. You got it? Okay, good. So that one, related anxiety related to learning, relating to, having to be book smart or something along those lines, all right? So is it okay for your unconscious mind to let go of this negative emotion now unconsciously and to be aware of it consciously? Yes? Lovely, thank you. So I'm going to look into the root cause of this first emotion. I'd just like you to let your unconscious now reveal the root cause of the problem, the very first event, which when disconnected will cause the feeling to disappear. Float out onto your timeline now, towards the past. Now you're floating. You can float up in a little hot air balloon if you like, just floating high above your timeline. High above your timeline, just float out. And we're kind of turning left because we're heading towards the past. You're in your little hot air balloon, you're looking down on your timeline, and it can look like a line or a long tape measure. I want you to float back to an event that makes you feel like that emotion, exactly that emotion. Floating back now. Just go back, glide over your timeline, looking down on it, and you're looking for that time, that moment, that first moment. And you remember your unconscious knows everything that ever happened. So let your unconscious guide you now and allow any number to bubble up as your answer. 6. So that was when you were 6 years old. And that's the number that bubbled up for you? Very strongly as 6. So float into your 6-year-old self. You're 6 years old, you're on your timeline, it's about 6. See what you saw, feel what you felt, hear what you heard. Are you there? If it's uncomfortable, I want you to hover above it. If it's okay, float down into that 6-year-old body. Have you got in touch with the feelings? You'll be feeling just after something happened. An event happened, you'll be sitting right in the emotions right after that happened. Are you there? You're feeling that. So what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What did you feel? What's you sort of seeing?
Not quite hearing.
So you're not hearing?
In the classroom, not quite hearing what's going on.
So because you have a little bit of hearing loss,
Yeah.
you're not hearing. Are you at the back of the class or towards the middle? You're not hearing the teacher. He's at the front.
Yeah.
So you're probably having a little panicky moment. I can't hear what she's saying.
Definitely.
Yeah. So she's going blah 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 blah, and you're going, I'm missing all of it. Yeah. Is that making you feel bad about yourself?
The switch off because I can't hear properly, so I don't pay
So you're
attention.
switching off.
I don't pay attention. I can't pay attention to what's being said.
So if you can't pay attention, just give up.
Yes. Ends up an anxiety attack because I've been left behind.
So you feel left behind.
Yeah.
You're different from everyone else. It's a horrible
Absolutely.
feeling.
It is. I feel
You're
totally
different.
alone.
Alone, an aloneness feeling, an isolation.
Very isolated.
That must be horrible.
People don't understand where I don't understand them. They don't understand me.
So you don't understand them, they don't understand you.
Don't get what we're saying. Yeah.
Don't get it. Beautiful. Okay, now float up over your timeline. We're just going to go back a little ways to the time before the event. We're going to go back before the chain of events that led up to the original scene. So we may go back 15 minutes, we may go back an hour. It depends. It probably would have started with the beginning of the class, I imagine. So let's just go back for an hour, just to be safe, okay? So we're just going to go back an hour, back, before the event started. And as you're looking down, because I want you to go really, really high up, you're in your little hot air balloon, you're an hour before, you're looking down on the domino effect that's going to come. Hasn't happened yet. It's kind of like on a pause button on the video, right? Hasn't happened yet. You can look down, you can see that it's about to unfold, but it hasn't yet. You're disassociated from the event. You're just observing. You're just up there having a chat with your unconscious mind about the learnings that are going to come for you. Believe it or not, related to learning and anxiety about learning, there were some lessons that you had to learn that you were going to make great use of when you were older or an adult. So for example, what were the positive lessons that you can take from this event that is about to unfold? It hasn't happened yet, but it's going to, which would allow you to easily and effortlessly let go of the emotion of the learning anxiety. So I want you to ask your unconscious mind now, because I don't want your conscious lessons, I want your unconscious lessons. What life lessons did you get from the experience that you can use as an adult? What does your unconscious mind say that these events coming up are going to design to teach you?
Comes up to the event that I can understand other people when they've got the same feeling. I take the empathy.
Oh my goodness. So in order for you to learn empathy, you had to know what that felt like. So empathy is one of your major lessons.
Yeah.
Understanding what other people go through when they don't understand.
Yes.
That's huge.
Wow.
Kathie, what was the lesson that you had to learn that's going to release this anxiety? What is the main lesson here that once becomes conscious will release this anxiety related to learning. What is the lesson?
Do anything I put my mind to, I can understand it.
So the person standing in the way of your learning is it you?
Yes. Way up. Yeah.
And now that you've learnt that lesson, Kathie, related to learning anxiety, and you know why you had to go through that, because you had to have the empathy to make you a really good counsellor, which you are now. You wouldn't have learnt that lesson without this lesson. You wouldn't have the skills. You had to face that in order to be completely authentic and congruent with clients who have the same issues. You have to be real with them, right? Because people know if counsellors are faking it with empathy, right? You have to go through a bit of pain. Yeah? So now we're going to preserve these lessons on your timeline. Okay, so now we're going to float through those positive outcomes. I want you to imagine you're floating through those positive outcomes of empathy and being able to do anything you want to do if you put your mind to it, as long as you don't stop yourself from learning. Float through that positive outcome now. Move to the moment, the absolute precise moment that you released this negative emotion from your timeline. The exact moment you release and let it go from your unconscious mind. That's right, push through it. The moment you push through that, absolute second you get rid of it, it's gone. And when you're there, I want you to turn your head towards the future, which is the right-hand side. Turn your head to the right. Scan along your timeline until you come to the right flag. See that white flag? The present moment?
Yeah.
Look at the flag. We're bridging the past with the future without any trace of the emotion. See? You there? Good. Okay. So now I want you to feel around to where that original emotion was when you were 6. Has it shifted? Check around to the original event. Where is the emotion? Are the emotions still there? They're gone. Emotions are gone. It's gone. Beautiful. Beautiful. So now we're going to float back to the present time. And as you float over your timeline, you will watch the dominoes fall and release any events with any similar emotions along the way. I want you to just let them go. And we'll only travel as fast as it takes to release any of these emotions. So as they pop up, as you're gliding along your timeline, a few of them are going to pop up. As you're growing up, as you're a teenager, as you become a young woman, little things are going to pop up here and there. I want you to grab them and release them. Anything with similar emotions along the way, pick it up. As you travel along towards that white flag to the present moment, pick them up, release them, thank them for the lessons. We're going to preserve the learnings on the timeline. Moving back to the present now, floating along, moving towards the white flag of the present time. And you just float along that timeline at your own pace, releasing as you go. And whenever you're ready and you're back in the present time, I want you to raise a finger or nod your head. No hurry though. Just floating along, releasing anything similar. Gliding along until you're back in the present time. Just let me know when. Beautiful. Now, I want you to stand by that white flag. We're not quite back in our body yet. I want you to look out towards the future. Looking out at a great big future. And your future's going to be long, honey. What does the future look like?
Fantastic.
How does it feel? What does it look like?
Clear.
Clear? Can you describe it for me? Are you seeing a sky or a field or an ocean or a house, or what do you see?
Feel the energy, just
Energy?
yeah, and
The colour?
calming colour.
So it's calming. Nice colours. Do you see yourself?
Sorry.
What do you see? Do you see yourself, or
Yeah.
yeah.
I just feel myself.
You feel yourself?
Yeah. I can't actually see myself, but I can feel myself.
Beautiful.
Feeling very light.
Okay. So, Kathie, do you see any future events with that same emotion out there? Do you see anything remotely like that out there in the future? Do you see any anxiety?
No.
No anxiety.
Gone.
No learning anxiety.
No.
All gone?
Gone. Even the fear.
So tell me, Kathie, who are you in the future, and how does your life change without that feeling in your life?
Feels fantastic.
Fantastic.
Feels great. Feels calming, relaxed. Oh my God, these ones.
Lovely. Now, Kathie, coming back into your body, sitting here in the therapy room in the chair, how do you feel? You can open your eyes whenever you like. And then your back. What was that experience like?
Fantastic. That was great.
You enjoyed
That was
that?
terrific, yeah. I really, yeah.
You,
I've got
yeah, you
really,
got
really,
goosebumps.
yeah, or goosebumps all the way down.
so
Yeah,
you totally released that.
yeah,
Can I just
totally.
say, you
And
look,
I didn't think that'll ever go.
the crazy
Yeah.
thing is that you look a bit younger and
Yeah.
lighter and just freer. And that seems
Right.
to be a bit of a side
Right,
effect for
yeah.
timeline therapy. Everyone looks younger and
Yeah,
there's
they
no
do.
extra charge. Isn't that wonderful?
Wow, look out. Here I come.
Yeah,
no.
you look lighter, brighter,
Yeah, I
just
feel,
happier.
feel fantastic. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
we really had a shift today,
Yeah, we
didn't
did have a great shift.
It's
didn't we?
wonderful,
Yeah.
isn't it? I love this therapy, it's so good.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's timeline therapy,
Yeah.
people. I hope you really enjoyed it. It's not scary at all, is it?
No,
It's quite
it's not.
pleasant.
Yeah,
A
it
bit
is.
like a visualisation, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very calming,
Yeah.
very relaxing.
Yeah. And there's no downtime, because it's not like hypnotherapy where you feel a little bit sort of groggy afterwards. It's wonderful, isn't it? I love it. I've used it myself for a few things now. So there it is.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Wonderful. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.